Okay, hi. It's Danielle here, and I've been asked to help with the new SteamVR setup. So recently, if you were to go to the asset store and you were to search for the SteamVR plugin, you'd see that it was an update, depending on when you last used it. So before, we used to access our SteamVR via code using something like Steam controller. So I've actually already updated a long time ago, so I don't actually have anything. But you can see here that the Steam controller is completely removed, and everything associated with it was also removed. So now it's kind of like, well, how do I access my controls? And Steam, as lovely as they are, hasn't quite explained in a nice documented format how to do that. So I'm just going to quickly go over how to do that, and then all the information that I got for this I learned from Kristan Dragos, and since then I've been using it myself. So I feel like I can share this information, but I just want to let you know that the source of my information is her, and I'll definitely be linking her down in the description bar, so you can go check out her tutorial, which is actually also handles the new teleportation system, which is great. Okay, so anyway, so I just got a basic scene set up here. As you can see, I put my player in, and here's my player, and then I just want the button that I'm clicking to tell me what I'm clicking over here, and yeah, so basically help you guys detect your input based on which controller button you press. Okay, so to get started, obviously you need SteamVR, and then you need to do a little bit of an interaction system. So to get your interaction system going, you can go to Window and then go SteamVR Input, and then you're going to see this lovely little interaction system is going to pop up, and you're going to have the basics. So all of these are already available to you. So grab pinch, grab grip, teleport, all of those stuff is already kind of like there for you, but you do need to save and generate. So if you're finding that these things aren't working for you, you just need to press save and generate, and it'll generate a whole little haptics file that'll allow well, it basically just puts like a wrapper around the different button controllers, and tells your computer, oh well, if you say next level, you actually mean this button and this button. So I've made some ones myself for the project that I'm currently in, but let's say, okay, so we just want to know which button we're clicking, right? So let's just say save and generate. Okay, so you see mine's not loading. Yours is probably going to load the first time because it has to build up all those files, but mine's already built it up, so it's alright. So I'm just going to open that binding UI, which is going to take you to a web browser local hosted site. So not really a web browser, it's just something that's on your system, but a nice way that they've done it. Okay, so you can create a new binding. Say create a new binding. Okay, and now this is picking up that I have the touch controllers, which is true. I've got my thing set up. Was this the touch controller? No, it's actually not. Okay, so if it's not your controller, oh, okay, so sorry about that. I didn't realize I had to change it over here. So basically here you can kind of choose which one you're using. So I'm just going to select the Oculus Touch, because that's actually what I'm using, but if you're using the Vive, just go edit that. So okay, so here my actual trick shot binding comes up, which makes sense why that other one was called Knuckles. I was actually really confused about that, because I don't think I'd ever call the bindings Knuckles. Okay, so these are my controllers, and if you're working on HTC, it's as simple as using the HTC one. So literally do all of this just with HTC, so there really isn't anything that you can change or do differently. Okay, so here you add what you need. So let me just quickly close this and close this, and then let's open it up again. and then I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so what we basically want to do here is I want to know if I've pulled the left trigger, if I've pulled the right trigger, if I've pressed A or B or X or Y, and I want to know if I'm grabbing the left grip or the right grip. Okay, so that seems like quite a bit, but that's alright. So I just want to know kind of like what I'm pressing. So I'm going to leave the toggles out for now, because it's pretty much the same, and you can just use teleport for that if that's what you're going to use it for. Okay, so grab grip and grab pinch is already here, but now I'll use those for my left grip and my left pinch. So to create a new action, let's just say I'm going to say this one's A, and then everything here you could just use suggested, everything's fine. Let's call this one B. So just basic simple naming strategies, X, Y, and then left trigger, let's say left pinch, left grip. Okay, so we've got all of those, and then just remember to save and generate, and you can see it's compiling, and that's great, that's a good sign. Okay, so let's just wait for that to happen. I'm sorry if this video is really long and I'm talking really slowly, but like I can only do stuff so fast on the computer, and you can just put it on like 1.5 times speed. I actually watched my last video on 1.5 times speed and it sounded like I was talking regularly, which is quite funny. Anyway, so now you're gonna go, just ignore that. Now you're gonna go open the binding UI, and you're gonna see now when you get into the binding UI that, okay, it's back to that, so let's just go back to Oculus Touch. Okay, and let's view these official bindings, and let's edit this binding. Yes, yes, save. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's untick mirror mode because we want to determine which side's which. So if the trigger is pressed on this side, here it's considered interact with UI, but what we actually want that to be is we want it to be pinch, because I actually thought it was already, it is already pinch, sorry. So that's fine, you can actually leave it as that because it'll detect as pinch anyway. We'll leave that joystick, and then this is already grab grip, so you can just leave that there. Okay, so now with the X and the Y, okay, so my X is actually used to exit the level on my other thing, but I'll just change it back, not a problem. I'm just going to set that to X, and I'm going to add Y, and I'm going to say I want to use it as a button, and I'm going to, oops, that doesn't make sense, sorry, Y. Okay, and you're going to see here, if you touch, if you just put your finger on it, there's also options to put haptics into that. So if you just want to detect if the user's touching Y or touching X, you can use these two here for that option. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to use the same click for A and button click for B. So literally these are also just other functions you can call. Like, it's just something that the controller can pick up, and you can use that, and I'm sure with the HTC Vive it's pretty much the same. Okay, so now if they're grabbing the grip, we want this to say, actually we're grabbing the left grip, and if they're touching the trigger, we want it to say grabbing the left trigger. Okay, but we also want to change this one. Okay, so they've got two because they also use it to interact with UI. But we want this to be as errorless as possible. So like here grab pinch, and here left pinch and left pinch. If I had left this at grab pinch, then this other function would have been called when I touch this button as well. So we don't want that. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I can show you here. And the system buttons and stuff can also be set up, so you can just play around with that. It's pretty simple. So yeah, now that we got that set up, now you want to save this personal binding, or you can replace the default binding. Okay, and I'm probably just gonna I'll save it as a personal binding just to show you. Okay, so I'll call this test controller. Okay, for YouTube. Okay, because I'm not actually doing this for my own project, so I'm probably going to have to remove this binding later, so I don't want to put it over. So anyway, so then you're going to see, if you go back, my test controller is here, and I also have 4 others that have been created for some reason. Yeah, gosh. Anyway, so this test controller is here. So I'm just going to leave this open in case we need to refer to anything or do anything. So you don't need to like exit this in order for it to apply. You just give that a good old close, and yeah, everything's already set up because this is already accessing everything else. Okay, so now we actually want to use this. So I'm gonna put a script in. I'll just create an empty, I'll call it canvas control, because I actually want to, oh, I probably spelled control wrong, whoops, I don't really know. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a script to this. Let me add a random script to this, and I'll probably put this script in like a Medium post or something, because I know whenever people do scripting online, you have to like either pause like a bajillion times, or you end up getting lost. So I'll just put the script in a Medium post so that you guys can go take a look at it. Okay, sorry, what am I calling this? Okay, so let's say button check. I'll just call it that. Doesn't really make sense, but we're calling it that anyway. Okay, and now I'm gonna edit the script. I wish this was actually live so that I could, like, if you guys didn't understand something, I could just explain it. It'd make it a lot easier for me than typing to you guys in the comments. But I have been trying, so if you do ever feel like you need answers, I'll leave my email in the description box and you can send me your screenshots. I actually have been sent screenshots, but instead of just explaining it over email, I'm doing this video. So anyway, okay, so now you're going to get your start and your update, and basically you're going to have to do all of this in update, because every single time a button's pressed, you want to know, so you're going to have to do it in the update frames. So now, you're probably wondering, how do I check? What happens now? All that kind of stuff. So basically, you don't have a system controller, and you just have your device, and you want to know, is it being pressed? Is it not being pressed? You know, like what's kind of happening here. So basically, I'm just gonna type out some code and kind of show you the gist of it. It's very basic. We're gonna start by doing or adding our valve.vr. Okay, and that's just pretty much gonna let us have access to all that stuff we just set up, all our bindings, and we're also gonna use the Unity engine UI, so that's set up. Okay, so we need a public, we need access to our canvas, so we'll say output, because that's where we're going to put the stuff out, and then we need public SteamVR input sources. Okay, and this is just gonna hold our hand. That sounds funny. Okay, sorry, this is just gonna hold our controller, like the whole setup of our controller. So I'll call this one left hand, and I'll just control D that, and then make this one the right hand. Okay, so now you're going to have to put a whole bunch of if statements in your update. So let's just start with A. Okay, so if then you're gonna go SteamVR underscore input dot get state down. Okay, and get state down is just gonna tell you when it's pressed, and get state up is gonna tell you when the button's released. And there's other ones that tell you if it's being held in, or you know, kind of what's happening with that. So just kind of depending on your use, but for now we just want to know when they click it, so we'll just get state down, and then you open up your brackets and you say, okay, so now this one's called A. So this naming convention is great. So now we're gonna say, okay, we'll check the left hand for this. Left hand, and if the left hand is pressing that, then we want output dot get component. So I just give myself the text. I already have the text. Output dot text equals you are clicking A. Oh, I said I'm checking the left hand, but now I must just make sure A is on the left hand. A is not on the left hand. So, okay, so with these ones, you don't actually, you need to make sure that there's actually that button on. So you only want to check the right hand for that one. So the other ones, you'll check both hands. So your trigger and your grip, you'll check both hands. But for the A, X, B, Y, oh my word, I couldn't have said that in the worst order. Okay, so for those ones, you just have to check the one hand that it's particularly on. So if a button's unique to a controller, you obviously only check that controller. But if a button's on both controllers, you check both controllers. Okay. But yeah, they're called different things though, so we've called them different things so you actually have to change each and every if statement, which is great, so you're not going to be getting confused. Okay, so basically I'm just going to quickly put all the rest in. So the rest are just exactly like this, get state down for all of them. So I'm just going to put the rest in, and then I'll see you in the VR headset to show you that it works, hopefully. And if I do make any more changes, you're gonna see that. But yeah, for now I'm just gonna quickly type this all in, and then I'll check you when that's done. Sorry about that. So basically I've set up all the different buttons, and I realized when I said left pinch and left grip, both of those were on the right hand. So I hope you can forgive me for getting my lefts and rights mixed up when I was setting that up. I didn't even think about it when I just assumed that the right one would be the grab, pinch, and grip that was already set up. But I actually, anyway, I messed up on that one. So just forgive me for that. You can just change it around in the UI binding. You don't really need to do much different than just switch that one. And if you don't know what I mean, I just mean, so if I just view this, so I put left pinch and left pinch and left grip on this controller, which is obviously your right hand's controller. I should have put them here and here, but I didn't. So okay, I'm just gonna roll with this mistake, because honestly, changing it around now, it's really not gonna be the most difficult thing, but just for the sake of keeping my sanity and laughing at my mistakes, I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so that had to compile something new. Apparently me just viewing the thing changed it a little bit. Let me just close that so that doesn't happen again. Okay, so now let's go to our canvas control, and oh, we didn't even add our script. I thought it was gonna add it for us. Obviously not. Oh, it did. It just didn't want to show me. Great. Okay, so now, oh, okay, so we're just gonna put that left hand and put that right hand. So that's already set up for us really nicely. We don't even have to do anything. It's gonna find out where your left hand is, and it's gonna find out where your right hand is in your player. Like, it's actually super great, because like, if you're wondering like how does it even how does it even know which one's my left hand and which one's my right hand? See, here we just say hand type and left hand, so it knows. So that's great. We don't really have to do too much there. And then output, we just want to put this text right over here, over there. Okay, so hopefully that works, and hopefully I can run my VR and everything will work as I planned it to. Let's see. Let me just save. Okay, so from what I can see, my Vive is sort of recording my screen. Yeah, this was the other one here. Okay, so if I press X, it makes me press Y, left pinch, right grip. Left grip, sorry. Oh gosh, how bad is my left and right? Okay, and then right pinch, right grip, A and B. Okay, I hope you can see that. I'm really sorry for this bad recording. I was hoping that the VR capturing software I got would capture this, but it also seems to be freaking out. I'm kind of glad that my Vive seems to be capturing it though. So yeah, if you want any more videos describing anything like this, please let me know. I will make a Medium post about all the scripting and that kind of stuff, so that you can go through that if you prefer to do that rather than watch me ramble on for a very long time. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and please do suggest more stuff. I am a computer scientist and a VR developer, so I can definitely help you with stuff that you're struggling with. I know I'm just making boring, simple apps to show you functionality, but if you want to see something not so boring, let me know, and I'll definitely take up the challenge. Cool. Thanks guys. Bye.